Good afternoon. Welcome all of you to the Career Counseling class. So this is our second class on career counseling. So on the very first class, we discussed what is career counseling, what is its importance, and how many types of career counseling is there. So today I will again discuss the first module. I'll revise it for some time. Then we will go to the next module. So I'm sharing my screen here so that you can see. So what is career counseling? I told you that career counseling is very important and it's a very systematic process. So that helps an individual understand oneself. So as well as the world of work to choose the right career. So it is a process of helping students and professionals to analyze their strengths, interests, abilities, and skills. The right career choice is often an intersection of the student's interests and abilities and industry trends. So, career counseling is a systematic process where one student, one individual gets some help regarding choosing their career. So, it is very important at time when someone is going to the college and he or she is clueless that which stream she should choose or which stream he should choose. That time, career counseling is very important. So everyone requires career guidance at some point in their lives. Now, if you are a student of class 11 and 12 and you are going to get admission in a college, then you need this counseling. If in case you are clueless, you do not know what to do, which line to choose. Okay, so I told you already what is the importance of career counseling. Now, their career counseling is not for only particular age group, like no, it's not only for class 12 students who are going to the college. It's you can do your career counseling at all steps, like whenever you are not very sure, you can do it. So maybe after your graduation, you are clueless what to do. You can do your career counseling at that time also. So you can do your career counseling after post graduation also. So, career counseling helps you to make the transition from one chosen career field to another. Suppose you have chosen one field, suppose you have chosen BTech as your career, like you want to do BTech. So, after BTech, you are thinking that uh, if I go for some government exams, so it will be helpful. If I go for MBA, it will help me. So, but you are not very sure that. Which stream to choose. At that time, you can do this counseling. So, who are this career counselor and what is career counseling? So, career counselors are trained professionals who provide guidance and counseling. So, they have extensive knowledge about different career paths and occupations. So, career counselors typically hold a master's degree in counseling, psychology, applied psychology, and are proficient in applying career development theories, counseling techniques, administration, and interpretation of psychometric tests. So, this counseling process is not very simple. Like, it's not that thing that you will go to one counselor and he or she will tell you what to do, what not to do, which stream to choose, which stream not to choose. But like there is a certain process, you have to go through the process. There should be one psychometric test. After that, they can suggest you which career is best for you. So a good career counselor is often a keen observer, problem solver, and has in-depth knowledge of various fields. So a good counselor should be very keen observer, problem solver, and he or she should have to be some in-depth knowledge of various fields. So they always keep themselves updated with the new trends and career information sources. So the career counselor also should know what are the career options available in today's market. Like every day the trends are changing, the career options are changing. So they should update themselves that like they are also going to suggest some student. So the students are depending upon them. So they should also tell the students what career to choose, and they should know before that. Okay. Now, what is career counseling? What is the process? Now, developing self-awareness. So this is the first step where you gather information about yourself, and you can understand yourself by introspecting on abilities, interest, personality, and skills. Ability, it is something that you can do well and easily. An interest, which something you like and enjoy doing. Okay. So you can also like counsel yourself. You have to first find out what are your interests, what are your ability, and which personality defines you. All these things you need to find out. Then you have to gain information about different career options. So the next step is to research various career options. You can get relevant information about the work and job roles, personal attributes, required eligibility, and selection process. So you can gather information from newspaper, books, magazines, internet, career counselors, and so on. So all these are different sources of your information. Next, you have to connect the information from above two steps. So finally, it's time to match your understanding of possible career options. So let's take an example of a key and law. So your potential is the key and the requirements of the career is the law. So each career has a unique set of requirements, and each one of you has unique potential. So like every student's career option will be different. Like maybe he or she is best friend, but it doesn't mean that their career option should be aligned. So it may be different. So you have to take action. Like after you have selected the best possible career options for yourself, you have to prepare a plan of action, like what subjects to choose, what entrance you have to go through, what is the study path and duration, what colleges you can go. So all these things you have to do by yourself only. You have to search, you have to find out that what are the career options available, like what are the entrance exams available, what is the study path, duration, what college, etc. Now, career counseling technique, psychometric test is there, and there are also some other assessment tools like MBTI, 16PF, DBDA, DAT, all these things. So, career counseling will always be one-to-one session. It will not be a group session because every student is different and their demand is different, their choice is different. So the counselor should counsel the students by one. Now there are different kinds of career counseling: school counseling, college counselor, study abroad counselor. School counselors basically counsel the students in their social and academic ventures, and college counselors counsel the students to help graduate and postgraduate students, and study abroad counselors help students to take course abroad, to study abroad. So this was our first just lesson about career counseling. So today we will discuss about school counseling. So what is school counseling? Who are the school counselors? All these things we will discuss. Okay. So for many youngsters, schools and school life in general present an endless list of demands and challenges. So from trauma and learning disabilities to bullying and course selection, life can be difficult for students. A school counselor is there to help. So the basic role of a school counselor is to support the students in their psychological, academic, and social development. So students are not that much aware of every courses in basically in the school life. Like they're very young, they have lot of demands, they have lot of challenges. So at that time, the counselor, one perfect counselor, one knowledgeable counselor can help them in psychological, academic, and social way. So, however, the breadth of school counseling is expansive. One minute, the school counselor may provide a social emotional lesson to a first grade class, and the next, they elaborate with the administrative team on a new school wide behavioral intervention system. So, like the scope, the chance of school counseling is vast. So, school counselor may provide you a social emotional lesson to a first grade class, and next they will collaborate with the administrative team on a new school-wide behavioral intervention system. Now, what is school counseling? What do you think? School counseling, by the name, we can understand that the counseling related to school or in the school counseling happening in the school. The school counseling addresses issues that may affect students' academic performance, which include psychology, psychosocial, and behavioral challenges. School counseling services are delivered by the school counselor. So, school counseling address issues that may affect students' academic performance. Sometimes the counselors, in the when they are in school, they counsel themselves only for academic performance, and which may include like psychosocial or behavioral challenges. School counselors should address students' mental, emotional, social, academic, and development. School system in different parts of the world have varying titles of school counselors. Now in Australia, they call student or education counselor. In Bulgaria, pedagogical counselor. Like in different country, different area, they call the school counselor by different names. So in Denmark, they call pedagogical or psychosocial counselor. In Russia, they call pedagogy or psychologist. In North Croatia, they call expert associate. In Slovenia, UK, US school counselor. Or in Ireland, guidance counselor. So obviously they're guidance counselor because they're counseling, they're giving guidance. So 2020 study showed that although the title or role of the school counselor differs somewhat, the key elements of school counseling can be summarized as supporting the psychological, academic, and social development, resolving conflicts between all actors, helping students face personal problems, consulting with students, parents, teachers, and principals, and coordinating various school activities. So, the key elements of school counseling are supporting the psychological, academic, and social development of students. The counselor has to see that the student is not facing any challenge, like psychologically, academically, and social development is happening for them. And like if there is any problems, any conflict in the student's life, in the student's school life, so the counselor has to guide them and helping students face personal problems. So counselor also help the students to face personal problems and consulting with students, parents, teachers, and principals, and coordinating various school activities. So counselors are not only counseling for the career option, they are doing all these duties. So they are also coordinating with various school activities also. What is the role of a school counselor? Advisor, advocate, agent, believer, collaborator, conductor, consultant, coordinator, diplomat. All the roles are there. Now, these are few roles these multifunctional positions may fill. So it is important to note that the dominant function of school counseling may also vary across countries. So as you have already seen that in different country, different area, the counselors are called with different names. So their roles are also changing. Now, counselors also help students to identify their abilities, capacities, interest, and they may also act as a coordinator who advise students about their career orientation and decision. So, in doing so, counselors may help students prepare for higher education and college admission. So, in Australia and Ireland, the role of the school counselor relies heavily on academic and career guidance and counseling. Mediator, so there can be many tricky situations within the school setting, and the counselor may act as an advocate to guide and negotiate by diplomatic means. Like the student may feel that they are being treated unfairly by the teacher. The counselor may also act as a mediator between students who have just had a physical altercation. Uh, Prevention is the focus for student school counselor in Russia, and a school counselor may be able to prevent unfavorable situations with pre-teaching and counseling. So, like sometimes they're also acting as a media. So maybe a student has got punishment by some teacher. The counselor is there to manage the situation. Like if the student is very much is got affected mentally for the punishment, the counselor can counsel him or her that like he can ask him that what was your fault? Do you think it was the right action? All these things, by asking all these things, they can counsel. Now, social skills teacher. In teaching social skills, a counselor can act as a researcher, specialist, expert, leader, and consultant. The counselor must first seek a research-based social skill curriculum suited for the school demographic, deliver the content, and assist the general education teachers in utilizing the curriculum. Now, friend. Sometimes all a student needs is a friend, and the school counselor can be there for a student in a professional capacity. With the professional friendship comes confidentiality and privacy. So a student sometimes the students feel lonely. They're facing some challenges and they need a friend to tell all these things. So they need a guidance who can guide her friendly, who will not scold them. So, like a friend, the counselor may act as a mentor, supporter, advisor, and listener, believer. So, it is also very important, like in teenage, when the students are going through that age, they can do they can make a lot of wrong decision. So, at that time, they need a mentor, a supporter. Sometimes a family cannot give the support mentally. Uh, they need advisor, they need listener. So someone need to listen their demands, their uh, their faults, their what they want, their dreams, and they need to believe them. So supporting students in their personal development and learning is the main role for school counselor in Denmark, Ireland, and in UK. In some schools, the counselor may be the frontline point person for students who misbehave. When a teacher sends a student out of the classroom, the student may be required to see the school counselor to address their behavior. So, if like this counselor sometimes act as a disciplinarian also, like he or she has to teach the students how to discipline in the class, how to be quiet in the class. So maybe a student is getting punishment regularly, frequently. So at that time, they need to see the counselor. So counselors may also have to address attendance issues uh, by communicating with students or parents. So sometimes the student is absent for a long time. So at that time, the school authority should find out that what is the problem, why the student is getting absent, is she not liking the school, or there is some fault with the school itself. So they need to find it out, and uh, this counselor will talk with the student, and he will make uh, convince the students for coming to the class. Psychologist. So in many cases, school counselor may act as a school psychologist while delivering counseling sessions. School counselors uh, may sometimes have to address student trauma or remedy situation involving bullying. Sometimes the student may face a psychological problem in the school or maybe from the house. So at that time, the counselors act as psychologists, and they can counsel the students to like come out from the trauma or remedy. The teacher, school counselors may also be found in the classroom. They may assist the classroom teacher and provide consultation or deliver lessons about social skills or emotional learning. Just as the classroom teacher prepares lessons, the school counselor also deliver engaging lessons. So formatively, assessing students' knowledge during and after the lesson helps counselors to adjust the teaching or future content. So the school counselor may sometimes taking class also, uh, not the regular class, but life skills class. Like he or she will give an engaging pitch, like what will motivate the students. Now sometimes the counselors, a consultant, uh, they're acting as consultants. So there are different roles of a school counselor. They're not only coming to the school while it is the school. They're not only coming to the school and giving guidance to the students for their career, but a school is the primary ground for all the students. Uh, when they're first coming out from their home, uh, their comfort zone. So at that time they can face so many problems. Some students are introvert. Some students do not like what to do, like coming to the class. Some students do not like to study. So at that time, school counselors uh, will offer them guidance. Will offer them uh, like will act friendly with them, so that they will listen to them. And the council like the when the it is for the senior students, so they may face some mental psychological problems. So the counselors will also there are also there to discuss about this. So the counselor is acting as like many individuals. So when they are consultant, mm, so the counselor can create and deliver a robust research-based school counseling program using data and student needs. Improving the overall function of the school, teaching and schoolwork is a main focus for school counseling of Croatia. So the school counselor has to do this research, and they have to show the overall improving function of the school, teaching and social work. Now, school counselor versus school psychologist. The role of the school counselor and school psychologist are similar in that they aim to provide all students with meaningful access to the school curriculum. The biggest difference between these two professions would be the preparation, education, and licensing. Although both roles may differ between countries, states, or school districts, here are a few of the common similarities and differences. So, school counselor and psychologist are not very different. They act similarly, and the biggest difference is written that these two professions could be the preparation or education and licensing. So, Both roles may differ from countries, like from between countries, states, school districts, and there are some similarities and differences. Like school psychologist is tasked with the responsibility of helping students succeed academically, socially, and emotionally. This is the job of a psychologist. So regarding interventions, as an example, a school counselor may be responsible for the implementation of intervention, while the school psychologist's duty includes administering, scoring, and interpreting. A school counselor is not licensed to perform such activities. Uh, so in United States, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act mandates that a school psychologist is required as an individualized education program team member to interpret the instructional implications of evaluation results. So in different countries, they act differently. Okay, you can go through it. Both school psychologists and counselors may provide training to teachers to help them meet students' diverse needs and engage with families and helping to connect them to community service. There is a graph. It is not showing properly. Show you. So basically, what we have seen, school counselor and psychologist, they are more or less same, but in some countries, some regions, they act differently and their job description is different. So counselors will be in the school to counsel the students academically, mentally, and also they need to listen the students, guide the students and believe the students. And while the students is getting punishment, at that time also they need student school counselor. And psychologist is there to help the students like to grow very mentally active. And if someone is facing any challenge, so at that time the school psychologist may help them. So this is a very basic difference between school counselor and school psychologist. And that's all for today. Next, we will discuss about college counseling. And actually, school counseling can be a very good job option for some of us if someone is interested to go for it. And college counseling will will be related towards the various career options. Like college counselor should tell the students that what are the career options available after their college. So we'll discuss that, and we'll also discuss what are the various options for different streams. We'll try to guide you. So if you have any query after this, you can post your comment and you can ask here also. Okay, so we'll conclude our session here today. Thank you.